Morning everyone. Right, it's another cold one here in Ilkeston. I just wanted to show you a couple of little upgrades we've got in the van, and I thought it just might be interesting for you guys. We have two 100 watt solar panels on the roof of the van, all controlled by Victron Energy MPPT, which is absolutely brilliant because it's Bluetooth, so you can see everything on your phone. You can see what charge state it's in. I've also got the shunt as well, so we can actually see the state of charge of the battery and accurate state of charge of the battery, so it will give me a percentage rather than working it out from voltages. It works it out, or because you can never get an accurate voltage when you've got loads on it. So for instance, it might be reading full battery, like you might be getting 12.9 volts, say, for instance. As soon as you put a load on it, it's going to drop down to, you put the fridge on, it's going to drop down to 12.2, 12.3. So when that load's on there, you can never get an accurate reading of what state of the battery's in. So I was always really worried, because with these AGM leisure batteries, if you run them, you can only run them to 50% at bare maximum. You know, you go below 50% and your battery life just diminishes. So it's not recommended. So I don't even like to go anywhere near 50%, which is not very good really. So because for a 110 amp hour battery, you know, you're only really safely going to get about 40 amp hours out of it, 40, maybe 50 if you want to push it. So that's not a lot when you've got a fridge running 3 amps, and you've got a TV that's running 3 amps, and you've got a night heater that's running a couple of amps or an amp and a half maybe, when it's just ticking over. You know, I'm just guessing off these, well, not guessing, but it's somewhere around that sort of ampage. So yeah, so I fitted a shunt, so which is then does all that guessing, takes all the guesswork out of everything, and it will give me, once you put all your battery settings in and everything, it will give you all the correct state of charge for your battery and how many amp hours you've used. So what I was doing is I was using the app on my phone, and I was constantly checking it, because that's just what I'm like. I'm always checking it. Kerry just laughs at me because I'm just constantly checking up on things and making sure everything's running correctly. She just thinks it's dead funny. So yeah, so because I'm on my phone and we're using phones for all sorts of things, I wanted something in the van that I've not got to keep looking on my phone. So it's there, you know, so it's in the van, permanently there. We could take it off when we want to. So let me just show you. So I'll probably do a more in-depth video on how this works, but we've got an iPad mini here, so that is currently on the shunt. So it's giving me that I've got 100% battery. It's giving me my battery voltage. It's giving me the current that we're drawing, which is 0. It's giving me the power, what we're using, which is 0 at the moment. It's giving me consumed amp hours, so that's 1 amp hour it's used. It's switching from the time remaining, because obviously we're running a tiny little bit of power, and we're getting a little bit of solar. So I can show you that. So if I go out of this one and then go into my MPPT, which is the smart solar charger, it's just connecting. Brilliant bit of kit this is. This is an old iPad, so it's quite slow, but it will do us for the van for this job. We don't need to have a brand new one to be doing this. So as you can see, we're getting 3 watts of solar at the minute. I'm sat in the shade. It's beginning of January, you know, that's not too bad. If I went in the sun, I'd probably get 20 to 30 watts. But yeah, we're not in the sun at the minute. So then it gives you all you see in the app, it will give you, there's loads of videos on this. You'll probably find a better one than this one, but I'm just giving you a quick insight to show you what we've got in our van. So then we can go into like the detailed, and it gives you like, it'll tell you how long it's been on bulk charge, how long it's absorption, and how long it's float. Now float is just like a trickle charge. So once the battery is fully loaded and it gets up to the correct battery voltage, it'll just go into a float trickle mode, so it will just control the battery, the voltage going into the battery, just to keep it nice and topped up. The bulk is obviously when you've got things on, it's actually charging the battery back up, and absorption is just literally letting the battery settle down. So it's like a battery monitoring system. It's a brilliant little bit of kit. It just does everything for you. You can leave it, as long as you're getting solar, it'll keep charging your battery, maintaining it and all sorts. It's brilliant. And over this side you can see it gives you all your info, your voltage, your current from the solar panel. It's giving you the voltage in the battery, it's giving you current on the ampage on the battery, it's giving you the state that it's in. So yeah. And then also what I fitted this little weather station. Now, I love my gadgets. It's not that expensive. They're about 30 quid off Amazon. But you're fitting outside temperature sensor, wireless one. I've got it fitted underneath the pop top at the minute. I might have to reposition that because I'm not sure it's too accurate under there, but we can play around with it a bit. So that will give you the outside temperature of 2 degrees, humidity of 86. Inside we're looking at 5.5 with a 67% humidity. So, and then it just takes all the pressure readings. It gives you the moon phases, it gives you the pressure, it gives you the date time and all that, and you can play around with it a little bit. But I just like to have the gadgets. So inside the van, that's where it sits, so I can keep my eye on the battery all the time without having to get my phone out, which is like really quite annoying. Well, it's not annoying, but Kerry just like thinks it's funny. I normally got my phone out permanently with all this on, but then I can't use my phone for anything else. So with this being there, I can just, even if I'm outside doing the odd job, odd bit and bob, or we're doing a bit of cooking outside or whatever, I can just poke my head round and just have a look and see what state the battery's in. And it's big, just a big enough screen just to see what's going off. So yeah, so I quite like it. I like that new edition. Like I say, it's an old iPad mini, so it's not cost us any more money to put this in. I've got it on charge going through into there. We can, the battery's pretty good on this, so we don't necessarily have to be on charge all the time. But yeah, I think it's good. I'm quite chuffed for that. We're going away this weekend, so we'll see how well it works. So yeah, excuse the running nose, it's flipping freezing. Yeah, so I'm no expert on batteries, but I'm in the trade. I know a fair bit about batteries. I have done research about them in the past. In an ideal situation, which is what's going to come soon, probably, is we want to switch over to lithium, because lithium is just something else. You can use 100% of the capacity, and when you're using solar power, you gain like something stupid, like an extra 30% as well. So I'm never going to have to worry about battery monitoring, or worry about how low the battery's going or how much we're using. Although Kerry does say that, what am I going to do with myself when I'm not, if we have lithium, what am I going to do with myself? Because I'm not going to be constantly checking on the solar and the battery and everything else. But I'm sure I still will. But yeah, so you can use like 100%, whereas an AGM, you can use like down to like maximum down to 50% before you start wrecking your battery. Whereas a lithium, like, you can go down to something like 10% or even below. 10% is recommended, but you can actually go below. So for an 100 amp hour battery, I've got literally 90 amp hours I can use. Whereas at the moment, we can only use 40 amp hours safely. So that's why I'm constantly checking, you see, and constantly looking, because I don't want to wreck the battery. But we have said, this battery we've got in at the minute is not the best battery. I think whoever had the van before us, it was only a couple of years old, but I think whoever's used it before hasn't realised what you do with batteries, and I reckon they've just had the fridge on in the middle of the summer all the time when they've been away, because they only went on a couple of trips of people that had this van before us. But I think they've just let the battery go too low, and it's not the healthiest of batteries. So as soon as this battery gives up the ghost, we're getting a lithium in there, if not before. They are very expensive though, but when you work it out, the cost of the cycles that you get, I think all different battery manufacturers are different, but some of the lithium ones, you can do like 4,000 or 5,000 cycles, whereas an AGM lead acid battery, you're getting 400-500. So when you think they're 150, 200 quid, lead acid battery for a leisure battery, you know, and then you've got like the lithium ones where you get stupid amount of charges out of cycles. I know they're like, you could pay up to £1,000 for a decent lithium. The one we're looking at is not that much, but again, you're gonna get, you can use 90% of it, and it's gonna last you a lot longer, and you've got no fear of damaging it. You know, the only problem is with lithium is temperature, but it's the same for any battery. They don't like cold weather, but no battery likes cold weather. So long as you're looking after it, you know, it's going to last us a long time. So value for money, I keep telling myself, and I keep telling Kerry to try and talk her into it. And she knows what I'm like, and she knows I won't be happy till I've got one. But at the moment, you know, it's one of them costs that we don't necessarily need. You know, if we're spending £1,000 on a battery, that's like a couple of trips away for us. So it's like, do we need it? But really, this time of year, we could do with it, because we're not getting a great deal of solar because of there's not a lot of sun about. And when there is a lot of sun, the sun is very low in the sky, so you still don't get very much solar, even when you've got full, you know, you've got full beam going onto the solar panels. I think the most I've seen in this time of year is like 30 watts on a 200 watt solar panels, and I've seen like 30 watts, so it's not a great deal, but it's enough to that's enough to run your fridge, but it's not there constant. So yeah, this time of year we could really be doing with the lithium, but we just see how it goes. At the moment we're coping, and now we've got this monitoring system here, you know, and I can keep my eye on it permanently all the time. Well, not permanently, but a lot better, you know. That will keep me a bit happier. So yeah, just this was really a quick video just to show you the couple of updates that we've done in the van. What we will do probably at some point is give you a full tour of the van and show you everything that we use when me and Kerry are both together, because Kerry's working today as well. So it is Friday, so you know, we might have a night in the bar tonight. We haven't been in the bar for ages, so we might actually have a night in the bar, get the log burner going. We've got some beer on tap, our own beer, all grain beer, because we're into that as well, which we'll show you some videos about that as well, probably. So yeah, so when Kerry's here, we'll do a proper walk around in the van, and we'll show you all our gear that we use, because we've got some proper gear. We've literally spent a fortune over the last 6-7 months on getting stuff, but every time we buy something, we don't buy crap. We always buy the best quality available out there, because otherwise you're just buying twice. And the amount of times we've been away and people have gone, wow, where did you get that from? That's awesome. Where have you got that from? Which you know, and it's like, because we look and we know what we want, and you know, Kerry's pretty good at like finding stuff. She's like me. She likes quality. She doesn't like cheap, nasty stuff. So yeah, we'll show you all the bits and bobs that we actually use, and we'll show you the bits and bobs what we use when we're camping on various different situations, because we don't take everything all of the time. You know, we're depending on where we're going and what trip we're going on and what we're doing, whether we've got the kids with us or what, we'll pack the van differently. But again, we'll show you all that, and we'll give you a proper walk around in the van, and we'll show you how we do everything, how we set everything up, how we use everything, what we do before the trip what we do before we go on a trip, and then, you know, the only downside to it is the cleanup afterwards. I mean, generally what I do is I give the van an outside wash, clean, proper clean. One of my cleans, not flipping, you know, one of these Polish places clean. He gets a proper clean, and then we give the inside a good clean as well. Kerry generally gets the van packed with all the essentials that we need, like with the clothes and the pots and pans, because we don't need everything. We've changed the van, we've winterized the van. We don't need the barbecue and stuff, so we've took the barbecue out, because we're actually cooking inside the van at the minute because the weather's not great. If we decide that we want to take a barbecue, we could just stick it in, because it's a Cadillac Safari 2. It's brilliant, tiny. It fits under the seat. It's just out the way. But yeah, Kerry is normally in charge of that. She's like the warehouse manager, I call her, because she's in charge of organising all the cupboards and the food and all that sort of stuff. I do all the maintenance on the van and wash it basically. and give it a clean inside. Kerry likes to clean it inside as well. She actually likes to wash the van as well. She's washed the van a couple of times, and she's polished it. So she enjoys doing that as well when she's got the time. But I do that sort of stuff just to take the pressure off, because I'm not really that... I get annoyed trying to fit things in the cupboards and stuff like that, and I end up spitting my dummy out the pram if things aren't fitting in properly. So it's best that Kerry does that, because otherwise things just start flying around the van. So yeah, so hopefully we'll get some of these videos out there for you, for you all to enjoy and see a bit more into our lives and our camping adventures. Right, until the next one, catch you later, guys.